So you're wondering what the best VR games are currently. Well, this video should do the trick. This will be a list of my favorite games, and I'd like to clarify, just because a game is higher on the list does not mean I necessarily think it's better than the ones below it. This is all based on my enjoyment of them, not the actual quality. So to get started, this is a little gem on the Oculus Quest and Quest 2, Jurassic World Aftermath. This is a stealth horror game where you play as Sam, who is hired to retrieve DNA from Isla Nublar after the events of the 2015 film Jurassic World. You crash land on the island and are stranded with Mia on a tablet talking to you and watching your body cam in a bunker somewhere on the island. Unfortunately for you, 3 raptors that Mia, who is the person who hired you, genetically crafted in a project. You have to stealth around the raptors, make your way through the labs, and eventually get the DNA of some creatures. It can be really tense with the raptors inches away while you're hiding in a locker or under a desk. The gameplay is solid and fun. My only complaints are that the raptors seem to always know where you are even if you don't make any noise, and they showed some stuff in the trailer that wasn't even in the game, but instead in the expansion pass. They acted like this was a full game, but it was only around 3 hours or so, and it felt really short, and now we have to wait for an expansion pass to finish the story. But this doesn't feel like it was a full game that got left on a cliffhanger. It felt like Oculus telling the devs to just release the first half and work on the second half as an expansion pass to make more money. But otherwise, it's fun, and I found myself replaying it a lot after I finished it. I recommend it. Next is Cosmodread, a chilling survival horror roguelike game in space. It's about a person who boarded a larger ship in the middle of space, only to wake up to nobody alive and in a hostile universe. There's a giant thing outside, and you don't know what's going on. You have to make your way around the ship to find navigation, the jump drive, route plotting, and the shuttle you used to escape. And every time you die, it resets, and you wake up with a new random weapon and a new generated map, so every playthrough feels different. The ship is filled with the nightmares that the crewmates got turned into, and it gave me some of my most chilling moments in gaming. And the ship is also infested with this weird flora, though it doesn't harm you, but it does add a lot of atmosphere. And the sound design is so good. It really adds a lot of fear and messes with your brain so much. You can also find disk drives to use on computers and unlock new blueprints of items. And there are audio logs hidden around so you can hear what happened and get some stuff explained by the crew before they all died. Honestly, I never want to play this game again after about 4 hours or so of playing, because honestly, it's too chilling. But it's still a fantastic game for $15 US on Quest and PC. Incredible game. Next up is Phasmophobia. I've always been a big horror fan, and this game has satisfied me well. Phasmophobia is a 4-player co-op game where you have to gather evidence and encounter a ghost in various locations spanning from farmhouses to asylums. It's truly terrifying with some really chilling moments. It's still in early access, but so far it's fantastic. The graphics really aren't crazy, but they suit the setting well. The ghost mechanics and how you find evidence is well thought out and fun to do. You and your team have a certain amount of sanity, and once it drops below 50, unless you're on professional mode, it might hunt you. The door to the outside will lock and you'll be trapped inside. It will start walking around and looking for players, so you have to hide in a closet or a locker, or run from the ghost. There are crucifixes to lower the chance of hunting, but that doesn't guarantee it won't. You can earn money by completing tasks and putting the right type of ghost in your journal. That can be used to purchase equipment to make your ghost hunting easier. It is a truly terrifying game that masters tension and will scare the crap out of people, especially with those who have Phasmophobia. It's also available on flat screen. You don't need a headset to play it, but the best experience is definitely the headset. And for $20 US, it's a great game that's totally worth it. In 2017, Stress Level 0 released Duck Season, a phenomenal game that will be fun and terrifying depending on which ending you decide to complete. It follows David, an 11-year-old boy whose mom rented the hot new game, Duck Season, for his Kingbit gaming system, which is their version of the NES. You have to play through all 8 levels to complete it, and the ending depends on your actions throughout the game. Shooting the dog may lead to something scary as crap, and being passive will let David live the normal life he should have. The gameplay is basically 3D duck hunt, and it's obviously what inspired the devs to make the game. It has an incredible soundtrack, really good graphics, fun gameplay, and made me take off my headset, uninstall the game, and never touch it again. There are a few problems, like the hand that reloads the shotgun just doesn't stay on it, but otherwise, really interesting lore, terrifying endings, fun endings, and decent gameplay. All for $20 US, it's a great game. Valve made a little game showing off VR called The Lab, and it is fantastic. There's a bunch of little mini games you can play, and they're all really creative. There's Slingshot, where you use cores to destroy as much as you can. It's basically Angry Birds. There's Longbow, where you have to protect your gate and bow these little black guys. This little arcade machine, where you protect a little ship by shooting the enemies. Postcards, where you get to explore some real-life locations, and many more. They all vary from fun to boring, but they're nice and I really enjoy them. Especially Longbow. The graphics are nice, especially for 2016. The games are fun and creative with some good voice acting. All together for a free game showing off VR, it's awesome. Next is Five Nights at Freddy's VR Help Wanted. Ever since the original FNAF released in 2014, I've played them and binged the game theories hard. The lore was so interesting and the games were scary, but up until VR, the gameplay was really the same, and FNAF VR is more of that, but at least you're in VR. Plus, there's a few mini games that are completely new and original. It is so fun and so tense. Having the 7-foot animatronics trying to kill you outside your door is so scary. You can find coins to unlock more prizes at the prize counter. There are also these glitch tapes around that a beta tester recorded so you can listen and eventually unlock a secret ending. And it's also nice that it's on every major platform: PSVR, Quest, and PC. On PC and PSVR, the graphics are really good, and it's the best FNAF has looked. But on Quest, it's really rough, but that's to be expected as the Quest is phone hardware. And in October of 2019, they released DLC with a bunch of new minigames. It also adds a lot of new lore to the series, and for $30, it's great and one of the best VR horror games. Now we have GORN. GORN is a gladiator fighting game you can find for $20 on PSVR, Quest, and PC, and it is crazy fun. It is insanely violent, and it makes you look mentally insane, but ask anyone who's played, and it's a blast. You can play the campaign where you make your way up the floors, fighting the ruler's champions, or you can do endless or custom. The visuals are great, the sound design is actually really good, and the gameplay and fighting mechanics are phenomenal. Though I have fell off it and I don't play as much, it is still crazy fun and one of the best VR games. Complaints are really non-existent besides some bad glitches on the Quest version and the final boss, but everything is rock solid and it's a great time. Next is an oddball, Gorilla Tag. This came out of nowhere on PC and SideQuest. It's an online multiplayer game where you play as gorillas to play either Infection Tag or Normal Tag. It uses a really creative locomotion system where you use your hands to move around, and once you've mastered it, it is so fun to play. I've spent countless hours playing this, and it's also a really good workout. The graphics are really charming. You might look at them and think it looks really bad, but I personally really like the style. It feels like a reference to early N64 graphics like Mario 64. But sadly, it's been taken over by a toxic community and there are so many screaming little kids. But that doesn't take away from the fun. It is so good and it's free, so definitely pick it up. Plus, it got released on App Lab a few weeks ago. So go grab it and have some fun. Next is the game a lot of you were probably expecting to see, Beat Saber. Beat Saber really grew VR a lot from the videos from YouTubers like Bandoot and Tempex. You use sabers and slice blocks in half the direction of the arrows. It can be super easy or super hard. I've spent so much time in this game and it was my first actual VR game. But you don't pay $30 for the normal song, you pay for the custom song. There is a huge modding community, whether that be making mods or mapping songs. It is stupidly fun, and great physical activity for people who really don't like the normal exercise. It's a really fun rhythm game that you will love. It is a great package for $30, and it's really fun. And honestly, one of the best games to get new people into VR. Next is something you definitely expected to see on this list, Half-Life Alyx. On October 10th, 2007, Valve released Half-Life 2 Episode 2, and players got left on a cliffhanger. But then, nothing. They kept teasing another episode, but nothing happened for 12 years. And then, one fateful day, Valve put a video on their YouTube channel, Half-Life Alyx announcement trailer. A new Half-Life game in VR that takes place between Half-Life and Half-Life 2 following Alyx fans. This game is so good. The graphics are truly AAA and they look amazing and boost immersion so much. The audio design is incredible, the level design is some of the best ever in VR, the voice acting is top notch, and the story is probably the best in VR ever, but that's debatable. Everything was scaled so well and the gameplay is really fun. It's also pretty scary sometimes, like in Chapter 3 in the Poison Head Crab Infestation. It is possibly the greatest VR game of all time. Even though this game is so good, something topped it for me. BONEWORKS. Back from Duck Season, Stress Level 0 released BONEWORKS in December of 2019, an experimental physics shooter. You are Arthur Ford, a security employee of Monogon, a video game company that became a giant corporation that is in every single house in the world. They made MythOS, a virtual simulation where you can live another life with every object being interactable. Stress Level 0 made a physics engine like no other. Every single object has its own physics, and it works really well. And it's the best we have right now. The weapons are also really good. A nice variety of melee weapons and guns, and the guns are especially good. Every reload feels really great. It has a 6 to 8 hour campaign that is super fun, and on top of that there's a sandbox mode and arena. In the arena, you can just keep going forever. In the sandbox, you can really do whatever you want. Granted, you unlock the items. Plus, the movement is fast, and it is really for experienced VR users, which I really appreciate. And for $30, it's my favorite VR game of all time. That was the list of my favorite VR games, and I hope you enjoyed. Maybe leave your list down in the comments, and have a good day. Bye.